Hi there, welcome back. I am doing the finders keepers on freeCodeCamp, and this is part of the basic algorithm scripting. Right, so they want us to create a function that looks through an array, and that's the first argument here, array, and returns the first element in it that passes a truth test. This means that given an element x, the truth test is passed if func x is true, otherwise false, I guess, and then if no element passes, return undefined. So we've got here our function, we've got find element, we've got our array, which is this, and then a function. So this is just doing, was it obviously num, and then if num modulo 2 is equal to 0, so was it sort of divided by itself and the remainder, or divided by 2, sorry, and the remainder is 0, then return true, and then actually just return that number. So I think in this instance that would return 2 here. And then we've got some examples, so 1, 3, 5, 8, 9, 10, and it would return 8, and it would actually return that function at that point and sort of exit out, so it wouldn't execute these two because 8 passes the truth test. Obviously 1, 3, 5, and 9, none of those modulo 2, sort of they're all odd numbers, right, would just return undefined. So I think actually, if I recall, the way I did this was actually remove sort of this num here. It was a bit confusing, and the simplest form I found is to do a for loop to begin with. We'll just do let I equals 0 whilst I is less than array dot length, because we want to loop through the whole array. I plus plus, and we'll create brackets, and then inside here we'll do an if statement now, because we're going through each of the numbers. We just want to check basically when this function fires, and we'll pass in the array at that index. If that's true, then return that number, otherwise keep going. And actually it will return undefined if it passes through all of them and nothing is true, as you'll see. So the if statement here would be if func, and then we'll do array at position I, and essentially that will actually evaluate to true. So we could do sort of triple equals true, but we actually don't need to. So this will return and sort of fire the code inside if it's true, which it is. To negate that, if you wanted to do if it was false, you could put a bang here, right? So that's sort of that would return it as a falsy value. So if it wasn't sort of the number modulo 2, then it would execute the code in that block in here in the if statement. So what do we want to do? We want to just return array at position I, right? That's what we're returning here. So in this case, it would return 2, and we can just see that if we console.log find element and do that. We can see in the console already, here's the 2, and then I believe if I run this now, run the test, it should all go through. So there we are. Yeah, so that's how we can, or certainly one solution for finders keepers. We can, with the for loop, maybe sort of even change that up a little bit. And for this one, actually, I found it quite simple, because we don't need the index. Actually, we're just using the sort of the numbers within, which obviously we're representing here. We could do let's say element of array, and then we just pass in L here, or whatever you call that, and that will also pass tests. So yeah, that's it for finders keepers on freeCodeCamp. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thank you.